Hello, welcome to Ritual Travels, welcome to Shrewsbury. Let's go explore all the amazing things this town has to offer. Let's go. Shrewsbury's on a hillside here, up from the river into the main town centre. So you've got some of the old buildings here, some of the independent shops, and through here into the town where the main bit is cobbled paving. This is where I stayed last night. The Lion Hotel dates back to before 1618. It was the premier coaching inn on the London Holyhead route. Famous visitors include Charles Dickens, Paganini, William IV, Jenny Lind, Quincy, or De Quincey, Madame Tussaud, Disraeli, and Rich Lord. Particular features of note include Adam Ballroom, whoever he is, and the Tapestry Lounge. And this is the Lion Hotel here. Quite a sizable building. And that's quite a sizable bus in the way. And look at that big lion. Look at that big bus. Look at that big lion there above the entrance, having its grapes for breakfast. Hope you have something more substantial later on. Hey, Paddington! Woo! It's quite a busy little section this, but look at the buildings up there, the Tudor style. You've got the Tudor galleries, Edwardian beds down there, charity shop, Henry Tudor Inn from 1429. Next door to Snoop Dogg's shop over there. Snoop. Lots to see in the town here, but first off, I'm starting off by going towards the Abbey and the English Bridge. Here you've got a cafe called Pont, which those who know your meanings from ancient days means bridge. Now, I mentioned bridge because that's what we're coming up to now. This is the English Bridge. This here in front of me is the Severn arched English Bridge here. It's quite stylish, isn't it? You can see those shells in the middle of the outer arches, but can you see that one in the middle with the face and the date above it? The English Bridge with English ducks. Thanks lads, great footage. Sorry, I've got no bread for you or any other duck food. Go on fella. On the steps up from the bridge there's this marker to say how high the river rises. It's got to rise pretty high to be above that level there, but I guess it does sometimes. Locals argue whether this is a lion's head or a leopard's head. I'm not sure either. But this is undeniably a plaque that says the English Bridge was built in 1768 to 1774 on the site of an earlier bridge. In 1925 to 1927 it was taken down and completely rebuilt. Its steep gradient halved its width, increased by 26.5 feet, and every sound stone in the original structure reused. The bridge was opened by Her Majesty the Queen on the 13th of August 1927. Now which Queen? It was Queen Mary. Behind me is Shrewsbury Abbey. There's some interesting things about Shrewsbury Abbey, so that's why I'm going to take you to Shrewsbury Abbey. The abbey here dates back to Norman times in 1083. It's certainly got a lot of presence here. Roger de Montgomery, second in command for William the Conqueror. Just had a really nice chat with the people in the Abbey there. So friendly, so welcoming, so nice. Good people of Shrewsbury. We did discuss about, is it Shrewsbury, is it Shrewsbury? And again they were saying it's a matter of personal choice, though historically the older word for Shrewsbury had an O in it rather than an E in it, so that's partly where that came from. In the grounds of the Abbey is this Wilfred Owen commemorative piece of art. Wilfred Owen was a poet in the First World War. It says, "I am the enemy, you killed my friend." And it comes from line 40 of the poem Strange Meeting, 1918. Wilfred Owen was a poet during the First World War, and one of the sad facts about this was that he was injured in the First World War, but he went across to France I believe. He went back across to Europe and is actually sadly killed on Armistice Day. There's some very nice houses here in Shrewsbury. Look at these ones. There's the old post office there. These beautiful decorated doors here. The plaque here in the Abbey grounds saying these trees were planted in 1946 to commemorate rural Britain's achievement in raising nearly £9 million for the service of the Red Cross Agricultural Fund during the Second World War. One thing we like on this channel, it's a plaque on a wall. This here is Shrewsbury Abbey Station. No longer in use, but it's a terminus of the Potts Railway, 1866 to 1880. Shropshire and Montgomeryshire Light Railway, 1911 to 1933. And the War Department lines, 1940 to 1960. You'll see on this sign here how it helps service the region. So there is the Abbey. And it leads all the way up into Wales. As we've seen, we've got the Abbey across here, looking splendid. Then we have a main road. And then we have here another bit of what was part of the old Abbey. This here is the old pulpit, and it's not sure whether it was in its original place or it's been moved here sometime over the years, but this is the old pulpit where they used to preach at the Abbey, which is there. The town centre is a busy little place. Even on a Monday morning and Monday lunchtime, there's people busy shopping, touring, driving through and looking at some of the amazing shops and everything that Shrewsbury has to offer here. People going to get some food, some drinks and enjoying what it has to offer. Shrewsbury is good. How very pleasant it is round here. Here we are at Old St Chad's Church. Voila. Is this the church where Shrewsbury began? Many believe so. That here, on one of the two hilltops in the loop of the River Severn, stood Pengwern, not penguin, Pengwern, the court of the princes of Powys. We know that by the reign of Offa, king of Mercia, 757 to 796, there was a monastic college on this site. In 1148 it was replaced by a much larger church which extended from Belmont to College Hill. An arched doorway still surviving in Golden Cross Passage led to the sacristy, library, now public house. The building in front of you, that one there, is known as the Lady Chapel. Lady Chapel. It is the only standing remains of the church after it collapsed sensationally in 1788. 4 years later, new St Chad's Church was built near the Quarry. In the dip to the north side of the churchyard lie the remains of a crypt. In 1890, a rare writing stylus was found there, which is now on display at Shrewsbury Museum. Voila! So Rich, tell me more about the history of Shrewsbury, or Shrewsbury. Go on then, I will do. 1901, first reference name written down to Shrewsbury, Shrewsbury. Shrewsbury Castle, 1068, was built by Norman invaders. 1148, the foundation of Old St Chad's Church. 1216, Henry III orders the construction of the town walls. 1349, a bad year, Black Death kills half the European population. 1403, the Battle of Shrewsbury. 1588, the death of Sir Philip Sidney at Battle of Zutphen. 1645, capture of Shrewsbury by the parliamentarians. 1788, collapse of the old St Chad's Church. 1809, Charles Darwin is born here in Shrewsbury. But 1918, Wilfred Owen dies in the First World War. Lady I was just speaking to, I was asking Shrewsbury or Shrewsbury, and she only moved to Shrewsbury some time back, and she says she's always called it Shrewsbury, but a lot of residents who've always lived here in the town call it Shrewsbury, but even they recognise that it's got its even older name of Shrewsbury or whatever it's called, so people call it what they like. Here is the Town Walls Tower, one of the only towers left on the town walls round Shrewsbury. It's owned by the National Trust, but it's not opened very often. But it used to be overlooking the river down the other side as part of the town's defences against those pesky Welsh who kept coming to try and invade. This is the new St Chad's Church. Let's investigate further. In 1984 there was a production of A Christmas Carol, the Charles Dickens book. Now, did you know that in Shrewsbury there's a gravestone here with the name of Ebenezer Scrooge? It's true. Let's look now. Here lies Ebenezer Scrooge. Now, how the dickens did it get here? I don't know. He's a good. He's a good. He's Ebenezer good. When they rebuilt St Chad's, they built it in a circular style. A lot of the locals weren't too keen on it and asked if they'd change it, but then they realised it would cost a lot more to change it once they'd got started, so they left it as it was. I think it still looks very stylish. Must be very nice inside too. This here is what was the Quarry. It's still called the Quarry, but it's a right big park now with lots going on. Let's see what's in here. Hercules statue. Wasn't that the horse from Steptoe and Son? Let's go and find out. This war memorial here was built in 1922 to 1923 in honour of the men and the women of Shropshire who fell in the Great War, and also for those in the Second World War as well, are commemorated here. The richly embellished floor shows the county and regimental arms on gold mosaic background, and the bronze figure of St Michael beneath the canopy is by A.G. Wyan. Here he is, St Michael, looking amazing. Well done, Michael. What a beautiful park area. It's delightful. Just hanging out with my main man Hercules here behind me. This statue was cast in Rome in 1804 and it was outside Condover Hall for a long time before a Shrewsbury plumber bought it and was going to break it down at some point, but the council saved it and placed it here in the Quarry, where it's here for all to enjoy with Hercules in all his splendour. This here is known as the fountain in the dingle. Look at the amazing colours on the trees around this area here. It's beautiful. Autumn is such a rich, vibrant time for the colours on our trees. You can see there's people just enjoying the water, enjoying nature, enjoying it all. Here we have the gateway of the Shoemaker's Arbour. Inside here we have a sign that says about it. Can you read what it says? It says Gateway of the Shoemaker's Arbour, originally erected on Kingsland in 1679 by the Shoemakers Guild and removed to this present site in 1877. The figures represent Crispin and Crispian, the patron saints of shoemakers. And there's these plants here now. And there's Crispin and Crispian up there. One of them's lost his head. Oh well. Here's a statue of a big duck. So, these beautiful groundworks here and all the amazing landscaping for all the trees, flowers, plants, bushes. People have to look after these, and it's the town's superintendent of parks that has to do that. Now, their famous person who used to do this job in the past was the Monty Don of his day. Let's have a look who that is now. That's right, Percy Thrower, broadcaster, author and gardening legend. He was on many TV shows in the 70s and 80s about gardening. I think he presented Gardener's World for a number of years as well. Percy Thrower, Britain's head gardener, and you can see behind him there's some animals in the background enjoying this beautiful, beautiful Shrewsbury garden area. Thank you, Percy. And into the town centre now, where you've got a lot of the chain shops and a lot more activity going on. They've even got an old Wimpy here as well. Awesome. It's a busy place. It's a busy, busy place. I might walk up here later on once I've had a breather. Pride Hill. Pride comes before a fall. And this is the square. And this here is a statue of Clive of India. Not Richard of Pontefract. And in front we've got the old market hall. I do love buildings like this. So stylish, so monumental, so interesting from our past years. So if you look at the side of the building there, 1596 this was. I like those faces up there. Very good. I absolutely love buildings like this and how they're transformed in use over the years. There's actually a cinema upstairs in that upstairs area now, which is a fantastic modern use of an amazing building like this. You've got the mixtures of architecture types here. You've got that big building with a clock on over there, some of these older buildings here, and then this one from the 1500s. And then here, you've got the job centre from the 70s, I'm guessing. As you know, we love a plaque on this channel. This is the market hall, built by the town of Shrewsbury in 1595 to 1596. The ground floor was used as the corn market. The upper room was used by the Shrewsbury drapers for the purchase of woolen cloths brought on ponies from North Wales. And this is a pigeon. I love old buildings like this. They're slightly misshaped and hanging over the street. I love big street signs like this. That one at the top left says this way to the Bear Steps. Let's go and have a look at the bear. Now this road here has an interesting name. I'm hoping there's a sign at the top that tells us what it is. But in the meantime, let's just enjoy the overhang of these buildings, the history. I'd like to say the things this street has seen, but that might give things a little bit away. Up here, it's a nice hill. Walking up this road here, walking up this narrow road with an interesting history, and this is what it's called, Grope Lane. Ooh. The history of Grope Lane here in Shrewsbury is, some say, it's because it was so darkly lit you had to grope your way down there. But the real story is, this used to be the red light district of the day back in the olden days. This is where prostitutes used to be around. So Grope Lane got its name from that. And these here are the Bear Steps. I wonder if they'll let people up as well, or just bears. Growl, 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 growl. Am I a very convincing bear? Bear Steps. This group of buildings, known as Bear Steps, was restored in 1967 to 1972 by the Civic Society, who raised money by gifts and covenants and obtained local grants. The oldest building is the hall with a 14th century roof. The gallery and balcony over Fish Street are later and probably contemporary with the link block, whose fireplaces suggest a date of 1550. What delightful buildings. Beware of the bear. This here is St Oakmans. Interesting name. A-L-K-M-O-N-D-S. Across the road here we have the Darwin shopping centre. Darwin? Why Darwin? We're about to find out. I'm just walking into the entrance of the Shrewsbury Castle grounds, and what a beautiful building this is. I'm liking the colouring of it. That's delightful. On to the castle. In all weathers, the groundskeepers are working to make sure this looks beautiful. This building here we just saw was the Soldiers of Shropshire's museum at the castle. I like these pieces of artwork here. Memento Men by Helena Castle. Not Castle, Cassell. I even like how the groundskeeper's got this piece of work here with the rake, the broom and the fork and the cannon in the background. Shrewsbury's good. Lots going on. Big guns, big guns. But don't climb on them. That would be silly. As we walk through the entrance, the large gates here, into the area of the castle. I'm not going to look extensively around the castle today because it's raining, but I am going to point out how stylish it is, how town defences are so important when you're in a border on a river or a coastline. A river in this case. But yeah, Shrewsbury Castle. I do like it when old buildings are lit up. I know it's daylight now, but when it gets dark I bet it looks spectacular. Spectacular. And here we have Shrewsbury Library. It's a big old building, this. Castlegate's Library, founded by Edward VI in 1552. Shrewsbury School occupied this site until 1882. The stone buildings were built 1594 to 1630. Sir Philip Sidney, Judge Jeffreys and Charles Darwin were educated here, and it reopened as a library in 1983 after a complete renovation. Darwin, I think I've seen him. And here he is. Here's Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin was known as the father of evolution. He was born in Shrewsbury on 12th of February 1809. Before attending Edinburgh and Cambridge universities and sailing on the HMS Beagle, Darwin studied in a building that now houses the library. He fished for newts in the Dingle and he studied rocks at the Quarry Park. Next to the River Severn is the Quantum Leap sculpture. Now this was created and unveiled in 2009 to celebrate the bicentenary of Charles Darwin's birth in Shrewsbury in 1809. And here's a bit of information around the Quantum Leap Darwin Memorial sculpture. For more info, go to discoverdarwin.co.uk. Boing! Earlier on, we had the English Bridge. This one, the other side of town, is the Welsh Bridge. It's only fair, isn't it? One each. So this is the Welsh Bridge at Frankwell. 5 arches across the River Severn. And you can see the River Severn here. Heading into the distance. All the way around Shrewsbury. There's very much a vibe of Chester, of York, of ancient places like that here in Shrewsbury. I mean, look at these buildings. What's not to like? It's good. Well, that ends my tour of Shrewsbury for today, or Shrewsbury for today. You choose. But from me, from old Charlie boy over here, thanks for watching. What's that? Charles says, will you please click subscribe? Please. Thank you. Good stuff. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Bye-bye for now. Charlie, say goodbye. Goodbye. See ya.